Hi fantasy managers, welcome to FPL Team Talk. In this video I'm going to go through my team selection for game week 17. So I'll talk about captaincy, who's going to make the starting 11, who's going to be on the bench. So if you enjoy these sorts of videos, give it a like, don't forget to subscribe, and in the meantime, let's take a look. Let's have a look at my side then. If you want to go into more detail as to why I've chosen some of the players that I have picked, my limitless wildcard draft, whatever you want to call it, up until game week 17, have a look at the previous videos. Otherwise, I'm going to go through this team fairly quickly, and then I'm going to arrange it into the 11 I'm going to play, who's my captain, and then also talk about some different options over the team news we've learned in the last sort of 24 hours. So in goal, I'm going to kick off and go Kepa. I just think he's really good value at 4.5 million. I can't really knock that for a Chelsea player. I did initially went for Pope. I just think I've changed my mind. I had money invested in Pope. I just prefer Kepa. I don't want to invest that much money in my goalkeeping positions. And for that reason, I doubled up with him in Ward, just a playing sort of a cheap goalkeeper as my backup. I can certainly dovetail those two if I want. Fingers crossed that Potter keeps Kepa as his number one player. In defence then, I'm going Trippier. I've had him for a while. I think he's still a very good choice. I think Newcastle are quite solid. He offers quite a bit of attacking returns as well. And then alongside that, I've gone Akanji, I've Umdenard, I've gone Cancelo, I've gone Walker. In the end, I think Akanji's slightly more nailed on than Walker. Hopefully as much so as Cancelo. It certainly doesn't offer as much going forward. But with the money I'm saving and what I can do elsewhere, I've just gone for Akanji. And I definitely want a way into that Man City defence. He seems like a pretty cheap option, though doesn't offer that much going forward, unfortunately. And then I've got Reece James, who looks like he's going to start, looks like he's fit. Potter's come out with a lot of positive things to say, and he started a match indoors recently against Brentford. So he comes in and starts. Good fixtures for Chelsea. Patterson, cheap enabler at the back. Wolves is a decent fixture as well, actually. And finally, I've gone for Luke Shaw. I just think these 3 games for Man United are pretty good. Shaw's been playing regularly. Dalot's out. So Shaw offers a pretty good way into that Man United defence. I wouldn't say they've been the best recently, but 4.8 million, I think he's a pretty decent option there. Fixtures are great. I still back them to get a clean sheet over the likes of Forest and Bournemouth coming up as well at home. Pretty hopeful. And not a lot of drafts I've seen with him in, so I'm going for sure. In midfield then, was going Zaha. I've got to go Mount. The fixtures are good. They've got doubles coming up. I just think he's the only way I can really get into that Chelsea attack with any sort of security and confidence that he's going to get minutes. I'm not even confident he's going to get 90 minutes every week. But out of the other options, I mean, certainly no one up front I can see with Havertz and Bangayang. And I don't want to use an up front slot for a Chelsea player. In that midfield, Sterling, but he costs a bit more. I could go to him. But even then, I'm not sure he's going to get a minute. So Mount gets the nod for now. And we'll see how it goes. But I do like their fixtures. Again, next we have Somerville and Pereira, both good enablers. Somerville's just been on fire, 4.4 and 4.6. You'll see now where the money goes by saving on them. I can bring KDB into that midfield, and I can also therefore bring in Rashford, who've got great fixtures in the next few games. He looks very confident. Great goal the other night against Burnley, so I'm really optimistic and hopeful he can get some points on the board for me, as well as Martial, who's, if he can stay fit, looks like he's Ten Hag's number one up front. I like him. I think he could do a lot of damage. And then I've gone heavy with Haaland. No explanation for him needed. And then Kane as well. But what we've learned over the last 24 hours, and Conte saying, I'm a little bit worried about Kane. There's a lot of money for me investing for someone who potentially might not play. Has a double coming up in a few weeks, but that's not the best. So that's my 15. I'm going to put those into order as to who plays, who's on the bench, and then talk about the different options given that team news that we have learned recently. As it stands then, my bench, I would have Patterson, Andreas, Somerville, Ward would get his place on the bench, Kepa would start in goal, and captaincy choices, I just don't think there's any other. It feels really box standard, feels cheap. But you know what, I think pretty much every game this season, if he starts, Haaland gets the captain's armband. I'm just A, scared of going anywhere else, and B, I just think he's just the best option. There's no one else that stands out in this side, possibly De Bruyne, but then I'm still backing Man City goals, and who's more likely to get him? I think it's going to be Haaland. So Haaland would get the captaincy. Now, what I am worried about is Conte saying that basically the players from the World Cup are not going to be ready. He's attempted to rest pretty much all 12 of those that got into the World Cup. Now, I am struggling to find it hard to believe that Kane won't play this, or the likes of Højbjerg won't, or that Son won't, given that they only played the group game, so they've had a fair amount of rest, not ready up to speed. I'm struggling to believe that that is the case, because I can't see who else is going to play up front. Kane just plays every game, but I'm a little bit worried about it. If we get more news that says that, yeah, he's going to follow through with that kind of threat, then I'm going to have to react to that, because I don't want to see Kane sat on my bench and missing this fixture. In that case, I would go to Wilson. I mean, Haaland would keep the armband. Wilson's fixtures look pretty decent. He's in good form. He's on pens. Newcastle as well, playing well. So he looks like the obvious choice. And then I could upgrade an Andreas and go to a Martinelli. However, it's difficult to see how I can fit Martinelli into this side with the rest of my team. I don't see the point in transferring Martinelli in just to put him on the bench, especially when his next few fixtures against Brighton and Newcastle do not look that great. And yes, I know they're top. I know he could be playing further forward. I'm not sure without Jesus they're going to be as potent. I mean, they're not going to suddenly turn into a poor side by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just not 100% convinced of Martinelli. So no point bringing him in just to have him sat on the bench when I don't think I want him. And Pereira does have a double coming up in the next few weeks. So in that case, I think I'll just keep Wilson in and leave Martinelli out. And it does leave me with a lot of money in the bank, which I could switch back to Kane for. Now, that would be my side if I get news that Kane is not available. Like I said, I think he will play. I can't see Tottenham going without him, possibly some playing as well. Therefore, they keep a bit of an attacking potency about them. But we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully, because it's the first game of the weekend, we will get some early team news. But otherwise, I will have to jump to Wilson. But my preferred choice is to keep Kane. And that will be the only change that I make to my side with Haaland. That's it for this one then, guys. Let me know who's going to be your captain and who makes your team for game week 17. In the meantime, we'll be back at you later on this week with the team selection for game week 18, transfer tips, all that good stuff. So make sure you hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And in the meantime, good luck, and I shall see you on the other side.